Aloha, kind people. Welcome to Uloo Talks Feed Your Curiosity. I'm Fergie, your host and a happy islander from Uloo, the app that guides you to learn, grow, and live your best life with the guidance from expert coaches and support from like-minded souls. In this special episode dedicated to the upcoming Valentine's Day, obviously we are going to talk about love, for sure. But we're going to talk about love in a different way. So specifically a different kind of love, which is compassion, and compassion towards oneself, towards ourselves. Here with us, I have Elena, a mental health coach in Uloo. She's a mindfulness practitioner and mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher with a specialization in empowering leaders to make a difference via mindful leadership and self-discovery. Hello, Elena.
Hello, Fergie. Hello. Nice to meet you here. Hello, dear listeners. And really, I'm happy to be here, and I'm inspired and curious about our future discussion.
For sure. Yeah, I'm happy to have you here because I have been reading the material that you share with us about self-compassion, about compassion in general. And I'm looking forward to learn more about this. And I think that this is an interesting topic to share with all Uloo Talks listeners. So let's start with the first question that has been bugging me when I'm reading about compassion, about self-compassion. So what is exactly compassion? How can we define compassion?
Yeah, Fergie, compassion is one of my favorite topics. And when we think of compassion, we can think of being empathetic, the showing empathy, but compassion is something bigger.
Okay.
So compassion is not only showing empathy, but acting in the way to reduce people's suffering. So when we show empathy, when the person is in difficult situation or when the person makes a mistake or failure, so the compassion is not only showing empathy, but acting in the way
doing something.
To reduce this suffering.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is not just because usually empathy is more about feeling that kind of feeling empathy if we see others suffering, but compassion meaning that we act on it, we do something about it, not just feeling the empathy, but doing something about it. And sometimes I think love is generally it's a bigger space, even more than compassion. And sometimes we use this interchangeably. Like sometimes when we say that I care about someone, I love someone, I feel compassion towards them, so we kind of use these terms interchangeably. What do you think are the difference? What make love and compassion difference? What are the let's say the limitation here, the differences?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, here is a kind of confusion sometimes.
Yeah.
Because when we love, we experience compassion.
Yes.
And when we show a compassion, we can be in love. But here is the difference. And the major difference here is that we can show compassion to anyone. We can show compassion to stranger. And when we love someone, we want to be loved. You know that each and every person is born to be loved. And we meet a person we love and we want to be loved. And when we show compassion, so normally we don't expect, because the person is in difficult situation, we don't expect this person to show compassion to us because we want to show compassion.
Okay.
We want to empathize that person.
Yeah.
And we want to help that person.
Right.
To reduce this suffering. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, to that suffering, it's more about the give and not taking. So it's because I think that is really beautiful what you say. When we do love, we expect to be loved as well. We want it for sure. Like I think like and this is something that you say, we are born to be loved, and this is what we expect. Like we want to be loved. So when we love someone, it cannot be a stranger. I think it's like we have to know them well, and that's the thing. Like when we love, we need to be loved as well. But when we feel compassion towards someone, then we're not expecting anything back, because like we feel that empathy, we act on it to reduce that suffering. But yeah, we just do it from our side to them, not like the other way around. So yeah, this is like the very foundational distinguishment between love and compassion. That is so beautiful. And what about self-compassion, what it entails? Because this is what we're going to talk about, like to spend a more mindful Valentine and to feel this self-compassion towards ourselves. So what does it mean to have self-compassion?
Yeah, so having compassion to oneself doesn't have any difference than showing compassion to someone. Because when we show compassion to someone, so to the people, to the person in difficult situation, for example, when the person is facing failure or mistake, or perhaps judging oneself, or perhaps is in stressful situation, and we express compassion. And showing compassion to ourselves, what we call self-compassion, is being kind and supportive to ourselves.
Okay.
Because pretty often we can find some judgmental thoughts, self-judging.
For sure.
And yeah, and showing compassion is like, yes, I'm human, I can make mistakes, and yeah, I'm getting the experience. We all humans, and we are here to get the experience. And this is the important thing about self-compassion, to be kind and understanding towards ourselves when we are in difficult situation, to be able to support, to give this kindness to ourselves. So this is self-compassion.
Yeah, and I think this is a really interesting topic, because we now, like, people are advocating more about self-love, about self-care, but not self-compassion, because this is hard to do. And as you mentioned, like we that kind of like compassion usually we feel towards other, but like we don't really feel towards ourselves. We tend to self-judge, we tend to beat ourselves too much. Like we don't say these things like we're human, it's okay, everything is going to be all right to ourselves. No, we don't say that often. And we say this to our friends, to our family, to our loved ones, but not to ourselves. So this is quite an interesting topic. And why do you need why do you think we need to focus on self-compassion more rather than just self-love in general? And what I'm asking here is like, what would be the benefits of us if we practice self-compassion more?
You know, when thinking about self-compassion, this is kind of showing the honor to our humanness. So I'm a human, and yeah, I can make different choices. There can be failures in my life, and no one is perfect. So I'm an imperfect person.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm free to make mistakes, and that's the part of my human experience. So, and that's the beauty, because in case I'm in difficult situation, I know that I will find support inside of myself.
Okay.
I will take myself, I will treat myself with kindness. So that's the idea. And what I'd like to make a small exercise, pretty short and simple, in order to feel the difference. And so what we need 2 hands. And let us make a fist with one hand, fist, okay? And this fist symbolizes our safety, okay? And let us try with another hand to open our fingers, keeping the fist. Try to open fingers, keeping the fist. And perhaps feeling and noticing sensations in the body, and perhaps any feelings. What is in the present moment? So to open, okay? And let's come to the initial position. Okay, and let us try once again. So we are making the fist. And this symbolizes our safety. And right now, we are going to support it, to keep it, and to treat it with kindness. And perhaps noticing what kind of feelings and sensations do you experience?
Oh.
Taking a moment just to feel it. Okay. We can come to the initial posture. Perhaps you would like to share the experience.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, because in the first part of the exercise where I try to open, I mean, like I'm relaxing myself because I know that I'm going to open. That's the first part. But it's still like I'm doing the fist myself, like my safety. But in the second exercise, when I kind of like grab my hand and support that, I'm relaxing in a way that is like I'm not making the fist anymore, because like something else is actually supporting it. It's like I don't have to I don't have to do, this hand doesn't have to do by itself. Like now there is someone that is like actually making me safe, making me feel safe. And from the other part, like the first part of the exercise, it's like I don't feel safe because like it's trying to open it. But like this one is like, okay, let's be safe together, something like that. I think that's how I feel it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So this is the amazing feeling about the self-compassion, because when we have self-compassion, we have this safety, we have this support, we can treat ourselves with understanding and kindness.
Oh, I think, yeah, this is really important. And I think like this is the foundation of it. Like if you want to go further in life, like in a more healthy way, mentally for sure, this is what we need. I think like to be kind to ourselves. But self-compassion is one thing that we can learn and practice from now on. And my next question, what would it involve, like to be self-compassionate? Like what are the actions here?
Yeah, there are three key elements of self-compassion. The first element is kindness.
Okay.
Yeah, like with this exercise with the fist, to show kindness. So in any difficult situation, we can act in different ways. We can judge ourselves or show kindness. So self-compassion is about showing kindness and support. I'm here with you. So I'm supporting, all will be fine.
Okay.
And the second element of self-compassion is common humanity.
Okay.
So just realizing that I'm not perfect. There are other people facing difficulties. There are other people suffering. And this is the part of our human experience.
Yeah.
So I'm human and it's fine. So yes, I'm suffering sometimes, but I can overcome that because I'm not alone. There are other people suffering as well. True, and they can as well overcome that. This is a kind of connectedness. Yeah. And there is the third element, which is mindfulness.
Okay.
Mindfulness is the ability to be in the present moment and to realize what's happening right now. What kind of body sensations are present right now? What kind of emotions and thoughts are present right now? Because sometimes, when we face a difficult situation, when we are suffering, sometimes what we do is we try to escape from this situation. Yeah. To find something positive.
Yeah.
So it happens. Okay, yes, right now it's a difficult time. Let me find something positive. But what happens with our emotions, with our pain? We suppress these emotions. They are still in our body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and what is the beauty of self-compassion? That we can be aware of this painful situation and we can deal with it. We don't suppress that.
Okay. Okay.
So we let it go more fully.
Right. Yeah. And I think like if these three elements support each other, because like first, like to have that kindness attitude towards ourselves, the human factor in ourselves, like to acknowledge that, and mindfulness would be like the tool to help us to be more aware, to acknowledge these feelings, these sufferings, this pain. So yeah, this is a beautiful three elements that we need to kind of like learn. But I have to say that self-compassion is still rare. Even we talk about self-love, self-care, but self-compassion is something that we don't hear too much, we don't hear so often. And as you said at the first time, like we might tend to do self-judging, and if we focus only on the pain, only on the suffering, we have this tendency only on focusing on that and not really bouncing back from there. So what do you think that will help us to set the boundaries here? That is what is not self-compassion, I would say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's a great question, because when we are talking about self-compassion, we're talking about suffering and pain a lot. And yeah, inspired self-compassion is the way to overcome these situations in our life. So sometimes there is the myth that, yeah, this is about suffering only. And yeah, it's very important to set healthy boundaries. And there is as well the myth that it can be kind of showing weakness.
Yeah,
so I'm
sure.
weak because I accept my suffering. So I feel pain. I show, yeah, I accept what's happening, what kind of emotions. So it can be like weakness.
Yeah, yeah.
Or perhaps this can be kind of self-pity,
Yeah,
showing self-compassion.
true.
Yeah. But you know that there are many researchers in this sphere. And what they show is that being able to overcome difficulties with kindness helps us to enhance our mental health.
Okay.
And what I'd like to mention is to, you know, when we are in a relationship with someone, and we have sometimes difficult situations. There are even some crises when we have these relationships. And when we overcome these situations together, showing compassion to each other, understanding, treating ourselves with kindness, so our relations, they become stronger.
Yeah.
We become even more resilient to difficult situations because we get this experience. So we have the experience of coming through these difficulties together. We can support each other. We can be kind to one another. So, and my answer is that keeping in mind that there are three elements. This is not this is not about suffering. This is the way how to overcome suffering in a healthy way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, again, like really come again to those foundational three elements, and keep in mind that it's all about like overcoming that. It's not just about while being aware of our pain, while being aware of the suffering that the difficulties that we are going through, we need to keep in mind those kindness, this connectedness to ourselves, like the human factor, and to be mindful as well. And how do you think we can start practicing self-compassion? I imagine like to have a guidance from a coach and to practice it well together at first, it would be really, really great help. But what do you suggest for us if we would like just to start with ourselves? Like how can we start practicing?
I think it could be helpful to make some self-compassion breaks. And the best way to start is when we notice that we experience difficult emotions, we can make a pause and come to these three elements. So it will be really helpful. So we are going in this way, we are going to have a very nice habit.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
To support ourselves in any difficult situation. So that's, and it could be great to invite it to our life and do it on a regular basis.
I see. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of like a little vitamin, I would say, that we need to take every now and then if we have that kind of like difficulty, and by practicing, then we can be more resilient to it. So yeah, I think like I'm excited. I think we're going to do some kind of like practice as well. So for us to take ourselves of this mindfulness practice together.
Yeah, let us do the short self-compassion practice. So you can use it like a self-compassion break. So it's very easy. So let us sit in a comfortable posture. So our back is upright, our neck is straight, both feet are touching the floor. Come into the present moment. Feeling the body, not thinking about it. Letting our mind to become clear. And perhaps we'd like to close our eyes or lower the gaze in order to concentrate on what's happening in the present moment. And trying to think about difficult situation happened in our life, or perhaps happening right now, perhaps some stressful situation. The situation when we needed some help and support. Perhaps a kind of failure or mistake or self-judging. And trying to come from these stories our mind is telling us, trying to embody this experience and asking ourselves, what am I feeling when thinking about this situation? And coming to the test element of self-compassion, which is mindfulness. Coming to the present moment, being aware of feelings, emotions, thoughts that are present in the moment. And perhaps telling ourselves, yes, it's not an easy situation. It hurts. And coming to the second element of self-compassion, which is common humanity. Reminding ourselves that we are not perfect, we are humans. And perhaps telling ourselves, It's fine to feel that. It happens. Many people in the world feel suffering. And connecting to other people. And coming to the third step, which is kindness. And showing kindness to ourselves, perhaps with a physical touch. We can put our hands on the heart region. Or we can hug ourselves. Feeling body sensations. Feeling the warmth of our hands. And perhaps telling something to ourselves what we'd like to hear. A message of support. I'm here for you. You'll be fine. Or perhaps you can find other supportive words, and in case it's not easy to find these words, you can think of your dear friend. What could you tell to a dear friend in the similar situation? Using these words of support towards yourself. And coming to physical sensations in the body. Feeling both feet touching the floor. Feeling the breath. Noticing sounds and smells we're surrounded by. And we can open our eyes. Our practice has come to an end.
Thank you so much, Elena.
You're welcome.
It was a nice pause.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. You're welcome.
Thank you. And I think like this is going to be a nice practice if we can all start practicing it together. And yeah, do you suggest us to take this kind of like pauses regularly, right? What do you think like would be the best frequency for us to do this? Do we need kind of like a reminder daily, or to do this whenever we feel the difficulties?
Yeah, it could be great to do it when we feel difficulties. So yeah, that could be a nice way to do that.
So this is kind of like our sanctuary to ourselves, that it's okay, we can do this, and we can be more self-compassionate, I'd say. Thank you so much, Elena. And before we close this such lovely episode that we spent together, I would like to reintroduce Elena. She is a mental health coach here in Uloo. So if you'd like to start practicing self-compassion, mindfulness, or anything related to your mental health in general, you can directly contact Elena through our Uloo app, or you can find her in our website and book a private one-on-one coaching session with her. So thank you again, Elena, for this lovely time that we spent together. And thank you for everyone for tuning in and watching this episode of Uloo Talks with Your Curiosity. To begin your personal growth journey, download Uloo and find your perfect coach match. See you in the next episode and have a great day.